together. It's the only way that things will get better. It's time for us to take a stand. So come on and lend a helping hand. Fix it up, yeah, it's alright. We'll get it ready by tonight. Mix it up, yeah, help a friend. We'll come together in the end.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's your girl T.I.E here, which stands for Together Individual Entertainment, and that is the name of my Facebook page, Together Individual Entertainment. And of course, T.I.E blog here on YouTube, and of course, my podcast, which is on Anchor.fm and Spotify. It's T.I.E blog, by the way. Okay, so basically, I'm talking about all these entertainment things like movies, TVs, events, all types of things. In my video a couple of days ago, I talked about the opening day for 3 parks that's happening here in Allegheny County. In West Homestead is Sandcastle, and good to know because Sandcastle will not be applied to Pools Closed rule, so that's a good thing. Kennywood in West Mifflin, and Unwell in Latrobe. Okay, so I'm going to get down to the safety stuff, so we are having fun, we are enjoying the entertainment and all that stuff. So, here's the thing. If you have kids, I know that a lot of you probably have kids, and you probably are going back on dates and everything, and before you know it, you're enjoying the summertime fun. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not always summertime fun. It's always torture when it comes to summer things. Okay, so for your kids, we're going to be talking about like kids stuff and family stuff, what you should do first. Okay, so if you have kids, you want to make sure you have a backpack or a big bag with you to pack the necessities for your kids. Like snacks, water that's filled with ice or something. At Kennywood, you got to make sure you bring your Kennywood cup with you. If you've been to Kennywood before and you purchased a Kennywood souvenir cup, bring it with you. Because at Kennywood, if you have a Kennywood souvenir cup, you get a refill for 99 cents. So basically, that is the most easiest thing right there. Basically, your kids will also be sensory sensitive, friendly. That's right, Kennywood has sensory sensitive stuff, a quiet tent, sensory sensitive backpacks. Make sure you tell Kennywood that your kid is autistic and it has sensory sensitive. If they run out of stuff, make sure you have a backpack filled with sensory sensitive stuff, like earplugs or soundproof headphones for sound sensitive, fidget spinners, fidget balls, any types of fidgeting that they like to do. Magnifying glass for vision sensitive, sunglasses for light sensitive. Now, sunglasses is one of the things that we like to talk about during summer. You want to make sure you wear sunglasses to protect your eyes from the sun. There's also gloves for touch sensitive. There's like so many sensory sensitives, but we want to make sure that those kids are safe as well. So before you even go to the park, it's always best to be prepared. So before you go into the park, make sure you have the necessities, like a cooler. If you have a big picnic table reserved at any one of the 3 parks, like Idlewild, I believe Sandcastle has picnic table areas, and Kennywood, all 3 of those parks have Kennywood tables. So if you reserved a Kennywood or one of the parks' picnic table spots, you want to make sure your big cooler is having ice in them and everything, because the one thing that you want to make sure that is cool is your hand sanitizer and your sunscreen. So you want to make sure that those guys are nice and cool, not hot, otherwise it won't work, or right yet your liquidation hand sanitizer might burn up or whatever. Here's the thing. When you are doing drive-in, it's always best to make sure the big jug is with you. So when you do a drive-in movie theater, bring the big jug with you. Same thing if you do a drive-thru restaurant. Bring the hand sanitizer with you. But if you're doing a to-go small pack like this one, always make sure you have a smaller cooler when you walk around the park. Because in a way, you want to make sure that your sunscreen and your hand sanitizer are cool. And, you know, if you want, and basically make sure you have either a exercise water bottle or a water cup like this with a lid. Make sure you fill up ice and water and all that stuff, any type of drink that will cool you down. Basically, here's the other thing. Hand sanitizer is one of the things you're going to need, especially when it's during this coronavirus thing. But you're kind of thinking that, I just applied sunscreen, I'm worried the hand sanitizer might wipe it off. You know what, that's okay. You can always reapply, because, in a way, here's the thing. When I am out there in the sun, I get easily sunburned. So with me, I have to reapply sunscreen every 30 minutes. So if you're easily burned, put on sunscreen every 30 minutes. But in the rules it says reapply sunscreen every hour. With me, every 30 minutes or so, depending on your skin. Also, you want to make sure you get the most sensitive spots. Like mine, it's always the shoulders, the chest, sometimes the legs, but that is like the spots that you want to focus on most because you want to make sure you move, you want to make sure you have fun, you want to make sure of everything. Here's the other thing. Your face mask. So you have to wear a face mask in the parks now. So when it comes to a cloth mask, if you only have a cloth mask and you don't have no other mask, here's a trick that I kind of learned from my past summertime. Before I wore the mask, before anybody wore the mask, I would make sure I wet down the stuff that I had to wear, like my hat, my hair. I would have to wet down a whole bunch of things to stay cool. So in this case, wet down your face mask, if it's a fabric mask, that is. So if it's a fabric mask, wet it down, and if you have a small face, just twist the ties, and you're set to go. However, I suggest to you bring in 2 different face masks. One that you can wear indoors, and the other that you can wear outdoors. However, this is a disposable surgical mask, and it says that you now cannot wear surgical masks because they have to save it for the healthcare workers and all that stuff, and I get that. However, the trick that you still can do is just twist the ties so your face is small, but I also suggest bringing along packs. Bring about, like, if there's packs that contains 10 masks in one pack, it's always best to make sure you bring at least 2 or 3 packs of surgical masks so that way you can breathe through it and all that other stuff. Now, basically, like I said, wear a hat and wear sunglasses to protect yourself from the sun on your face. So it's always best to make sure you do that. If the weather changes from sunny to gray, dark, and rainy, make sure that you are also prepared for that. So make sure you have an umbrella with you. Make sure that you have a rain jacket or a rain poncho. So you got to make sure that you're prepared for every little detail, especially like the rain and all that stuff. Like, for instance, if you are out in the park and you have sneakers and socks on, sneakers are a good way to walk in during the summertime, especially when it's like nice and sunny. However, if you are planning to go on water rides, it's always best to carry an extra pair of shoes. Summertime shoes, that is. Flat sandals. You want to make sure you're comfortable wearing sandals. So make sure you get comfortable flat sandals for you to, walk in and all that stuff. So make sure you have 2 pairs of shoes to bring with you, just in case you need to change. So basically, the other thing that you want to be set for is to make sure you check the hours. Because if you are coming from out of state and you are planning on going to an amusement park, but you don't know what time it opens or what time it closes, make sure you do that. Make sure you look ahead of time on what time the park opens and what time the park closes. So in this case, Kennywood is opening from 10 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. on this summertime fun, and when we get into September, it's just going to be Friday nights, and then it's going to be all day during Saturday and Sundays, and then when we enter October, now, I'm afraid to tell you this, there is no, and I mean no, Phantom Fright Nights. I'm sorry to say, there is no Phantom Fright Nights this year. However, there will probably be Happy Hauntings, which is a family-friendly thing that is going to be happening, which means it's just going to be family stuff. Like, the kids are going to go trick-or-treating in a small little graveyard. They're going to meet Mr. Voodoo. They're going to meet Kenny the Kangaroo, Mr. Arrow that's dressed in costumes. They're going to meet a whole bunch of things, like the hay maze, the pumpkin decorating contest. It's going to be like all these different things that family stuff is going to be doing, which I am okay with because I do not feel comfortable with Phantom Fright Nights. So, unfortunately, no Phantom Fright Nights this year. But still, we are still planning to have a little bit of Halloween fun and all that stuff. And also, when we get into October, I am still planning to give you the safety tips for Halloween. Now, I don't know if Halloween's actually going to happen this year, but I'm crossing my fingers it does. Because if it does, I'm going to give you the safety tips about that. But for now, I'm giving you the summer safety tips about what you should do when you're out in the sun or any kind of other thing. Also, besides bringing 2 pairs of shoes, you want to make sure that you also bring a pair of changing clothes. Because if you are going on a water ride or you're going to sandcastle or any type of water thing that's in the park, you want to make sure you bring 2 clothes. 2 clothes for you to wear over your bathing suit and the clothes that you normally want to wear after you're done in the pool and all that stuff. So make sure that you have the changing clothes and everything ready to go. And since you are now prepared for the amusement parks and all that stuff, there's just one other thing you gotta know about. Maps. So basically when you come into the map world, you want to make sure that you look at the map very carefully, because if you have kids that you are worthy to trust with on their own, you want to make sure that they get a map. Like, for instance, depending on how many number of kids you have, you want to make sure each one of them has a map. Because, like I said, maps are pretty much the safety course of things. Like, if you ask them, like, where they want to meet, they can point out the location and they can meet there at a certain time. And that's another thing. Make sure that before you go anywhere to an amusement park, make sure you have a watch. So, parents, I'm advising you to make sure that they have a watch with them if they do not have a cell phone. If they do not have a cell phone, give them a watch. But if your kid does have a cell phone, tell them to set a clock or a timer on their phone saying that they have to be at a certain place in an amount of time or anything, depending on how big the park is, because Idlewild is a pretty big park. Not only do they have picnic areas, they have storybook forest, which is all the fairy tale stuff, a kid play area, which has these balls and the rope challenges and a whole bunch of other things. They even have like the ride area and the entertainment place. They got games. They got like all these different things that are separated from Kennywood and Sandcastle, but still, it's a pretty amazing thing to make sure you're prepared for. To make sure that they know what time to meet you, where to meet you, and a whole bunch of other things. But if you have toddlers and everything, basically it's always best to bring a wagon with you. However, Kennywood has that steep hill once you get through security. So before you put them in the wagon, make sure that you just walk with them or whatever. And then as soon as you get on the flat road, you can put them on the wagon or something. But there will be also some other things that you also have to pay attention to, like the height requirement for the ride. You also have to pay attention to some minor details, like you need to teach your kids about stranger danger. You need to make sure that they don't talk to anybody that they don't know. Otherwise, they can be lured into away with the wrong person and all that stuff. And make sure that they look at their surroundings and everything, because trust me, there were like some minor details that happened many years ago, but we are making sure that they understand the safety guidelines and all that stuff. But this is just the safety guidelines for summer. So, like I said, make sure you bring 2 different face masks for you to wear around the park, a hat, sunglasses, sensory sensitive stuff if your kid's autistic, water cups, fill with ice and water and all that stuff. Don't forget your Kennywood souvenir cup, old or new, just bring it with you, and you get a 99-cent refill. An umbrella, 2 pairs of shoes, a jacket, sunscreen, hand sanitizers, and of course, pair of changing clothes, and of course the map and time schedules. So that's basically all that you guys need to know. If you still need some more safety guidelines, just comment me and I'll make sure that I give it to you straight and make sure that I let you know about what you need to know about all the stuff that happens during the summertime. Well, that's all I got for you guys today on my day off from work. And this is Ty saying...